In this video, I'm going to show you around the room I stayed in last October at the New Yorker Hotel. I'll share a few facts about the hotel that you may not know, useful information to know before you go, and I'll give my honest review of the hotel with pros and cons. The New Yorker is an iconic Art Deco hotel with over 40 stories that can be seen from many angles along the Manhattan skyline. Opened in 1930, it's played a big part in New York's history over the years. Did you know that from the 1930s to the 1960s, there was an underground tunnel connecting the hotel to the subway and Penn Station? It's been out of use for a long time and is now used for storage, but there are tours available and you can still see its Art Deco tiles and features. The hotel was thought to be quite technologically advanced at the time. It had its own retractable ice rink and guests could enjoy watching ice skating shows. In 1948, it was also one of the first hotels in the US to offer in-room television sets. There were notable high-profile guests including Nikola Tesla, who lived and died there, Muhammad Ali, and the parents of Barack Obama. The hotel closed its doors in 1972 after falling into disrepair, and it was bought by the Unification Church, which carried out renovation work. It reopened as a hotel in 1994, and in 2006 it underwent more extensive renovations to restore its Art Deco heritage. The hotel also has its own power plant, and during its use from the 30s to the 60s was capable of providing power to over 25,000 residents. The cogeneration plant is back in use today and provides much of the building's hot water supply. You can find detailed information and pictures showing the hotel's rooms and facilities on the website to see which kind of room would suit you. As you can see, there are lots of types of room catering for different budgets and group sizes. There are several dining options at the hotel, including the TikTok Diner, which I'll go into more detail about later, the Trattoria Bianca, and the Butcher and Banker Steakhouse, located in the basement in what used to be a bank vault. In-room dining options are also available, and due to the hotel's convenient Manhattan location, you can find many places for food and drink within easy reach of the hotel. So now let's take a look at the room. We booked this holiday as a package deal, so we have the 2 nights in New York, and then we have the 12 nights on the Carnival Venezia cruise of the Caribbean. So we flew from Newcastle to Heathrow, and then Heathrow to New York JFK. And we have stayed for 2 nights, so this is the second night tonight, in the New Yorker Hotel. So the New Yorker Hotel is located in Midtown Manhattan, so it's very, very accessible. It's right near the subway station, Penn Street station. It's very close to places like Times Square, the Empire State Building, so you are right in the centre of the tourist action here. So of course that kind of thing does have pros and cons, but that's something that I'll go into separately outside of this video. So I just wanted to, before I'm checking out tomorrow, give you a little tour of the room. The room is on the 22nd floor, so I'll just show you outside in a minute so you can see how high up we are. So you can see here, please excuse my things on the bed, we have a double bed. It's very, very comfortable. I don't know if it was because I was so jet lagged last night, but I fell asleep within minutes. I really thought that being in New York, with it being so bustly and loud compared to what I'm used to, that I would struggle to fall asleep, but I didn't at all. I think it was more like ambient background noise in the end. But the bed was extremely comfortable, I have to say. The pillows were comfortable, the mattress was comfortable, the temperature in the room was also perfect, so I was really happy about that. So then there's a bedside table and there's a desk. So what you have here is a chair, so obviously if you're wanting to do any work, you've got this desk area here, usual bin. One thing I will say is that obviously this hotel is a little bit older. This is an Art Deco building, so that does of course mean that the amenities are perhaps not quite as modern as you might be used to from some of the newer hotels. So there's a TV here which I haven't used, so I'm not sure what's on there in terms of channels or services. And we've got a chest of drawers here. A nice full-length mirror, hello. We've got another bedside table with a lamp. There is a this adapter here. I don't understand how this works. I did try to plug a USB lead into this for my camera yesterday and it didn't seem to be working. So I'm not sure if this is not working in general or if it's just not plugged in correctly. So there is something, you know, a bit more modern that does exist in terms of, you know, adapters, plugs, because I know a lot of people have USB things, USB plugs that they want to charge things with. I wasn't too bothered about it, so I didn't go and ask at the reception, but I'm sure if you were in this situation where you were trying to use something like this and it wasn't working, you would just be able to go and speak to reception and they would be able to solve the issue. So this is the view from outside the hotel window. So yes, on the 22nd floor, so as you can see, we're quite high up. And this is the bottom, so yeah, it is pretty far down. Now it is a Friday night tonight. Strangely, it seems to be quieter than last night was, which did surprise me a lot. Everywhere we went tonight was quieter than yesterday. I think there's been something on in Madison Square Garden, and I think Blink-182 may have played here today because we saw big crowds of people walking by with Blink-182 t-shirts on, so hope they all had a great night. Just going to give you a little tour of the bathroom now. So there is a bath. The shower is not a power shower, but it is very powerful. It is quite a strange shower. As you can see, it's got these 4 nozzles here. The water was jetting out quite enthusiastically, shall we say. It was a very good temperature, so yeah, definitely a nice hot shower. Got your sink and toilet, the usual, just towels, hand towel, bath towel, face cloth. Yeah, and then I believe this is a hairdryer at the back, but I haven't used it myself. So in terms of how I would rate this hotel, it has grown on me a bit. It's not that I didn't like it at first, it was just quite a lot to take in being somewhere like New York. It is quite the culture shock with how busy it is. If I were in New York again, I would consider staying here again because I know where it is and I know that it's good. Okay, so I've actually been back from New York and back from the Caribbean cruise holiday for quite a long time now, and I wanted to give my absolute honest review of this hotel, give you some pros and cons and let you know what to expect, because there were some things about the hotel that I wish I personally had known before going. So if you're watching this video because you're wondering whether or not you should stay at the New Yorker hotel, then I hope that this will be useful in giving some information to help you decide if this is the place for you. If you've already booked a stay there, then I hope that you'll find this information in the video useful also. First of all, do I think that the New Yorker hotel is a good hotel? Yes, I do. There are quite a lot of mixed reviews on websites like TripAdvisor, and I think that that is probably to be expected with a hotel of that size. I mean, they will get tens of thousands of guests through their doors every year. And it's in Midtown Manhattan, prime real estate, so to speak. It is an affordable hotel, I would say, compared to other hotels in New York. It's a 3-star hotel, so it does get a lot of different people going there for very different reasons. So first of all, there are some extra fees at this hotel for certain things. The first fee that I would like to mention is that if you want to leave your luggage with the hotel, so for example, you need to check out of the hotel but you don't have a flight until later in the evening, so you don't want to be taking luggage around the city with you and you want to leave it at the hotel, they do charge $5 per bag for you to do that, so just be aware of that. There's also a facilities fee of $29 per room per night, which is also added on. This is not something unique to the New Yorker hotel. There are lots of hotels in New York that are charging this fee. It is quite hotly debated whether or not this is something that people should be charged. So the facilities fee, sometimes called an amenities fee or a resort fee, is something that is being used in some hotels in more touristy parts of the US and also some Caribbean locations plus a few in Canada. It's not something I had ever heard of happening in the UK before. It's not something that I had ever seen in Europe, and that is because I've since read that it's actually illegal to do things like this. So the facilities fee is basically a nightly fee charged per room that is completely separate to the room price. So the price of a room is advertised, and you could be misled into thinking that that is the amount that you're going to pay. You get to the hotel, and then suddenly you're charged $29 per night per room for the duration of your stay. The New Yorker Hotel says that the facilities fee is to cover premium high-speed Wi-Fi, the gym facilities, the conference room facilities, and things like international calls. Now, you may be thinking, well, I'm not going to use any of those things, so why do I have to pay for it? The thing is, you can't not pay for it. It is kind of a forced fee. It is unknown whether or not these fees actually do pay for the services that the hotel says they do. There's no way of being able to prove that. It does feel very much like a fee that is added on top, which should really be included in the price of the room. But the reason that hotels aren't doing this is because they're trying to keep their room rates as low as possible, and increasing those room rates would obviously affect how desirable they looked to the competing hotels. There are also tax ramifications and, you know, a lot of other things relating to this. But just be aware of this added fee, because it wasn't something that we knew was going to be added on when we arrived, and that is because we had booked this hotel as part of a package. So we paid for the package, but we didn't actually have a breakdown specifically of the hotel costs. Nor was it mentioned that there was going to be this facilities fee, so that was a little bit of a nasty surprise when we arrived and the reception staff told us about the facilities fee. Now, I do have to say, if you look on the FAQ page of the New Yorker website, they do actually have information about the facilities fee. I don't know how many people actually do check the FAQ part of hotel websites before they go, but definitely have a look at this one, because it will give you information about these kind of things that you absolutely need to know. Depending on how long you're staying, and if you have 2 separate rooms, for example, and you're there for 5 days, well, these facilities fees are then going to start adding up really, really quickly. If you book directly with the hotel, you will be able to see this breakdown, and you will also have that facilities fee included in your total price. If you're booking this through a third party, then do be aware that it's not likely that your price will include this. If you book through a travel agent, they do need to tell you about these fees in advance so that you're aware of them before you go. Another thing I'd like to mention is that there are no tea and coffee making facilities in the room, or at least there weren't in my particular room. If this is something that is really important to you, you can hire one, but it comes at a very, very large cost of $50 per night to rent a coffee machine for the room or some coffee making facility for the room. I would say it's not worth it. I'll let you decide that though. If you want to do that, fair enough. But there are plenty of places to get coffee around and about, because it's Midtown Manhattan. So, you know, you can pick up a coffee at a convenience store, you can go to one of the chains, or you can find an independent. It's New York, there are loads of places to get coffee. But I'm just mentioning this more specifically for my fellow Brits, because I know that many of you like to have a drink before going to bed, whether it's a cup of tea or a decaf coffee or something like that. So just to be aware, there is not automatically going to be a tea and coffee making facility, no kettle, no complimentary tea bags, none of that. So just another word of advice. If you are travelling with other people and you think, okay, I need to quickly go downstairs, I'll not take a key card because there are people already in there to let me into the room when I get back up, please don't do that. The reason for that is that if you go downstairs and you want to get back up via the lift, they do have security staff who will ask to see your key card. So now I just wanted to go into my pros for this hotel. So first and foremost, the location. The hotel has a very good location in Midtown Manhattan. It's a short walk from notable places like the Empire State Building, like Times Square. It is very close to Penn Station, which means that the subway is accessible and trains taking you elsewhere. It's right next to Madison Square Garden, so if you happen to be seeing a concert there, then this hotel would be, you know, a great place to just stumble out of the concert and already be back in the hotel. Secondly, it's a very historical building. It's got a very impressive lobby. They've taken a lot of care to renovate this, and it does look very Art Deco now. It does look impressive. It is a very imposing building, but it kind of blends in with all of the imposing buildings in New York City, I guess. But it is a very architecturally significant building, and for that reason it does have charm. Also, the security. So I just mentioned that before, but I think that, of course, in a city as big as New York with so many people, I do think that it's really good that they have staff who are checking people's key cards to make sure that you are a guest at the hotel before you go up. So it does give you that peace of mind that they are taking these kind of things seriously. A pro for me was that the bed was definitely comfortable. As I mentioned earlier during the tour, I found it very comfortable, very pleasant, and I have no complaints about that at all. Another pro for me for the hotel is the TikTok diner. Now, it's not strictly part of the hotel, it's not owned by the hotel, but you can access it through a door from the hotel lobby. It's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's a very convenient place to just get a big breakfast or a big lunch, big evening meal if you really wanted to. It is, in my opinion, quite reasonably priced for the portions that you get. It was a very, very big breakfast for me. So if you're looking for somewhere to get a big breakfast that is attached to the hotel and you are looking to eat something big before you go sightseeing, because usually people will be walking a lot in New York City and you don't want to then suddenly find that you're starving, this is a place that I would recommend considering. I've actually seen some people on YouTube describe this as being a tourist trap. I wouldn't really say it's a tourist trap as such. It is just, obviously, it's next to a big hotel in a very touristy area. If you want to consider that a tourist trap, then fair enough. I don't personally feel it to be in any way scammy. It is just, you know, a standard diner, quick service, good quality food in my opinion, and you'll be full afterwards. So definitely consider it. I had the pancakes with, I think, lemon, ricotta and blueberry? I'll double check on the menu and put underneath what I had, but I really enjoyed it, so recommend that. If you want a quiet, modern hotel, this one is probably not the one for you. It is from the 1930s, it's been renovated, there's still a little bit to go, which I'll go into in the cons list, but it is definitely an interesting hotel to stay in. It's got many stories to tell, and I really think that if you are a fan of Art Deco architecture, or you really want an authentic New York experience in a hotel, then this is a good one to stay in. So now for the cons. So this hotel is very big and it is very touristy. Due to its location, due to it being a 3-star, it's kind of that good budget which, you know, meets everyone's needs. It does have a lot of groups of people, of course. You've got so many people there. When I was there, there were groups of school kids, there were families, there were people of many different nationalities. There was a big group of, I think, Virgin Atlantic cabin stewards that were all staying over. So there are going to be a lot of different groups of people here, and if you really want a quiet hotel with a quiet lobby, then this is not going to be the one. Another con is that the corridors definitely need modernising. So I found that the room had been modernised, but the corridor was definitely a little bit tired. So just things like dimly lit in places, need some new carpets because the carpets were looking very worn out and frayed, lick of paint here and there. It's nothing major. It is a huge hotel, as I've said millions of times, so it is a lot to renovate. Another thing, I was the only one staying in my room, but if there are 2 of you staying in that room, it might actually get a little bit small. There wasn't a huge amount of space for me to be able to open out the suitcase, so If there are two of you there and you have two big suitcases, or if you're staying for a longer period of time and you want to hang things up, I don't think that would be a very comfortable experience in that room, because there's not a great deal of space for you to actually be able to lay things out. Now, this isn't something that I found myself, but I have seen this in other people's reviews. I guess this is just a New York thing in general, but it could potentially be a little bit noisy. It is the centre of the city, it is an older building, of course it's not completely soundproof. Personally, I didn't find the noise to be disturbing at all. If you're a light sleeper, maybe pack some earplugs just in case. It probably depends which floor you're on, and like with any hotel, whether you would happen to be in a room next to some people that were making any kind of noise. I didn't find the traffic noise to be disturbing. Maybe it's different on other sides of the hotel, I'm not too sure. Okay, so that's everything. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please give it a like, give my channel a subscribe. If you have any comments, then please feel free to write them below, or any questions about the hotel or about New York. And I will see you next time for day 2 of the New York City travel vlog. Bye bye.